Hello geometry students. Today's learning target is to determine if two figures are similar. And to review, similar figures have corresponding angles that are congruent. And the second thing is corresponding sides are proportional. So you need two things in order for figures to be similar. Angles need to be congruent, the corresponding angles, and the corresponding sides need to be proportional. So if we look at problem number 1, we could see the corresponding angles that I'm highlighting in different colors are congruent. So the yellow angle, the pink angles, the green angles, and the blue angles are all congruent. So the corresponding angles are congruent. And then the second thing we need to do is we need to check the proportions. So we need to check that the fractions are the same for the corresponding sides. So we can see that the 22 goes with the 4.4, the 30 goes with the 6, the 22 goes with the 4.4, and the 45 goes with the 9. So what I need to do is I need to check, is 22 over 4.4, is that the same, and I'm going to question mark, as 30 over 6? And is that the same as 45 over 9? Now technically I have another 22 over 4.4, but since I already have that, I don't need to rewrite that. So now I'm going to get my calculator out and see what decimals those are. When I divide 22 divided by 4.4, I get 5. 30 divided by 6 is 5, and 45 divided by 9 is 5. So the sides are proportional, so the corresponding sides are proportional. That means the figures are similar. So if we take a look at problem number 2, we can see that the corresponding angles are congruent. So the corresponding angles, and I'm going to abbreviate this time, are congruent. And now I need to check to see if the sides are proportional. So once again, the 10 goes with the 14, the 17.1 goes with the 27, and the 22 goes with the 33. So I'm going to check those fractions. So is 10 over 14, is that the same as 17.1 over 27, and is that the same as 22 over 33? So let's get out our calculators and figure out the decimals. So when I figure out these decimals, I get 0.714. The middle fraction is 0.63 repeating, and the third fraction is 0.6 repeating. We can clearly see that these fractions, or these decimals, are not the same, so that means the corresponding sides are not proportional. So the corresponding sides are not proportional, which means the figures are not similar. So let's take a look at the next two problems. So we look at problem number 3. We know that the lines are parallel, and you may remember if you have lines that are parallel, these two angles that I'm highlighting are supplementary. So to figure out the green angle, I'm going to calculate 180 minus 120, which is 60. So this angle is 60. Now that angle is 60 degrees, and I see this angle is 55 degrees. So at this point, I know these parallelograms are not similar because the corresponding angles are not congruent. So I don't even need to check the fractions, so that they are not similar because the corresponding angles are not congruent. Now let's take a look at problem number 4. So here I have this angle is 50. I want to figure out this blue angle down there because the lines are parallel. I'll do 180 minus 50 and I'll get 130 degrees. So that blue angle is 130 degrees. If I were to repeat this for the figure on the left and do 180 minus 130, I will get 50. So this green angle at the top is also 50. So the corresponding angles are congruent. Something that you may know in a parallelogram is the opposite angles are also congruent. So that means this angle that I'm highlighting in blue is 130. This angle is 130. This angle is 50. And that angle is also 50. So the corresponding angles are congruent. But now I need to check the proportions or fractions. So the 4 goes with the 8. So 4 over 8, is that the same as 5 over 10 since the 5 and 10 go together? Both of these decimals are 0.5. So that means the corresponding sides are proportional. So the two conditions to be similar are satisfied. Corresponding angles are congruent. Corresponding sides are proportional. So the figures are similar. So just to summarize, there are two things to be similar. You need the corresponding angles, to be congruent, and then the second thing you need is the corresponding sides are proportional.